Hi guys, welcome back to Navigating the Periphery. My name is Deborah and this is my son Philip.
Hello.
How are you guys doing today? If you're into what we're doing on this channel, you know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe button. We want to make sure that we get our message out there and try to reach and help as many people as we can. Navigating the Periphery, we're trying to stop the stigma of a mental health diagnosis, one show at a time. If you know anyone who could benefit from watching this channel, please help. Spread the word.
Remember, it's okay not to feel or be okay all the time. You are not alone. We're here.
So Philip, how are you doing today?
I am doing great today, Mom. How are you doing?
I am good and excited to discuss today's topic. Today we are going to navigate the periphery of anosognosia. I know, huge word and seriously difficult medical term.
Yes, but a very important medical term. Anosognosia is a neurological condition that causes a person to be unaware of their own neurological or psychiatric condition. It's also known as denial of deficit or lack of insight, and is part of the family of conditions called agnosias, which occur when the brain can't process or recognize what the senses are telling it. I experienced this condition as my descent into psychosis began in 2020. In previous episodes, one being episode 3 on how COVID affected mental health, and in episode 11, A Mom's Perspective, we talked about me losing time and the loss of time, and doing things I was unaware of, like moving furniture around, and not being aware that I was doing those things. Or the biggest issue, not being aware that I was even ill at all. If you haven't seen either of those episodes, please check them out. We will link them in the description box below.
Anosognosia is also characterized as a person's inability to accept that they have a condition that matches up with their symptoms or a formal diagnosis. This occurs despite significant evidence of a diagnosis and despite second and even third medical opinions confirming the validity of a diagnosis. Anosognosia is a result of changes to the brain.
Losing time, often referred to as time distortion or time disintegration, can occur in schizophrenia and related disorders. It refers to the subjective experience of time feeling distorted, fragmented, or disconnected. Individuals with schizophrenia may report gaps in their memory or periods of time for which they have no recollection, leading to a sense of time loss or disorientation.
Some individuals may perceive time as passing very slowly or quickly, leading to a distorted sense of temporal reality. People with schizophrenia may have difficulty recalling events or experiences during specific time periods, leading to a sense of time loss. There can also be a disjointed perception of events. In episodes of psychosis or hallucinations, this can cause a disruption in the continuity of perception, making it challenging to maintain a coherent sense of time.
This led me to have serious bouts of disorganized thinking. Cognitive impairments associated with schizophrenia can interfere with the ability to sequence events chronologically or maintain a coherent narrative of past experiences. At this time, I really started to have limited memory of what was going on. And like I said, in lucid moments, I would be told of events that transpired and I had no recollection of them, which furthered my thoughts of there being nothing wrong with me.
In schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder, anosognosia refers to a lack of awareness or insight into one's own mental illness. Individuals with these conditions may not recognize that they have a psychiatric disorder or may underestimate the severity of their symptoms.
This lack of insight can make it challenging for them to understand the need for treatment, adhere to their medication regimens, or engage in therapy.
Anosognosia in schizophrenia and schizoaffective disorder can contribute to difficulties in managing the illness effectively, and as a result, there may be reluctance to seek help from mental health professionals. It can also lead to a higher risk of relapse or worsening symptoms if the individual does not receive appropriate treatment and support.
Fortunately for me, my mom recognized that something was seriously wrong and that my behavior was becoming pretty erratic, strange, and unpredictable, and that I was in fact losing time and not realizing what was going on around me or that I was ill. This was a very scary time for me because in lucid moments when I was aware, I was finding out that this was happening. So we immediately discussed it with my clinical psychologist and psychiatrist.
Impaired awareness of one's own illness is a common symptom in patients with severe bipolar and schizophrenia. In some cases, the affected individual may not have any awareness that they're ill. As a result of this symptom, patients may believe that their delusions and hallucinations are real. They may not see any impairments in their day-to-day functioning, even though those around them are having to cope with severe consequences of their lack of motivation, initiative, social skills, or ability to live independently.
The person experiencing this may have difficulty with their elevated moods at times, and on the flip side with the lows as well. The mania is a huge component in this. This manic behavior starts to create a serious problem. Manic behavior can cause many problems, for instance, spending money they don't have, engaging in promiscuous sex, or making risky and dangerous life decisions, none of which is characteristic of their behavior when not manic. But if you don't realize you are ill, this obviously could become quite serious.
Now, you guys may be thinking, how common is anosognosia? As many as 50% of patients with schizophrenia and 40% of bipolar patients suffer from this condition. Anosognosia is caused by damage to the right side of the brain. Anosognosia may fluctuate over time with the same individual, so that they may be more or less aware of their own illness at different points in time. It is important to distinguish anosognosia from denial, which is a psychological defense in which the individual does not want to face the seriousness of their problems because it's too painful to do so.
As a matter of fact, anosognosia happens to be the most common reason that patients with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia are not complying with their medications. It makes sense from the patient's point of view. If you don't believe you're sick, why take medications? Unfortunately, taking medications is one of the most effective ways to decrease these symptoms and increase awareness of illness. Patients with this condition are more likely to be hospitalized involuntarily and to end up in the emergency room as well.
So why is it important to become aware of your illness? According to NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, studies have found that becoming aware of your illness is related to a better prognosis and outcome. One study found a 34% reduction of being readmitted for relapse. Those whose insight levels increased early in their therapy, rather than those whose insight levels were lower at the onset of the first psychotic episode, fared better.
Sadly, those who have been classified as being high risk of developing psychosis frequently exhibit severe deficiencies in understanding, making those who are already the most vulnerable even harder to persuade that they have a serious condition. It has been demonstrated that insight levels decline with the number of psychotic episodes encountered, highlighting the significance of early intervention and care. Now, my decline was very rapid. I had severe COVID in March of 2020, and by September of 2020, I was diagnosed. So there was no demonstrating that my insight levels declined with the number of psychotic episodes. Because it was really just one long psychotic episode with little moments of normalcy and lucidity here and there.
There is no cure or ability to magically increase insight. Medication has not been shown to be effective in increasing awareness. And while some studies have shown education about mental illness may increase one's awareness, others have shown that despite an ability to attribute symptoms to schizophrenia to others, they cannot do so to themselves. So as always, it varies from person to person. If you have a loved one with anosognosia, seek help from a mental health professional at the earliest opportunity. Even if the person with the condition will not seek treatment, help is available to you and your family. A qualified mental health professional can explain the legal and clinical procedures that are available to get help for you or your loved one if they do not realize that they need help.
Here in the county in New York, where we live, we have something called the BHRT, or Behavioral Health Response Team, where with one phone call they come to your home and assess the situation and evaluate the symptoms of the person you're concerned about and what they are experiencing to get them the proper mental health help that they need. It is a county-run operation, and I'm sure there is something similar in most states. You would just need to research or Google what it is or called in your area. I hope this episode explained a little bit about this complex issue in schizoaffective disorder and schizophrenia. I know these topics are not easy to talk about. I share them with you guys to try to give you insight from my own personal experiences.
Very valuable information, Philip. Hopefully it could help someone recognize if someone they care about is suffering from this issue or if they are experiencing it themselves. Please let us know your thoughts on this episode. If you know anyone who has suffered with anosognosia, we'd really like your feedback.
And please remember, everyone, it's okay not to feel or be okay all the time. You are not alone. We are here.
Yes, we are. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode today. And we look forward to seeing you guys in our next episode coming really, really soon. Take care, have a great evening, and bye for now.
Bye!